In 2011, someone asked Elon Musk a simple question. Are you worried about a Chinese company called BYD? Instead of answering, he laughed. Not a polite laugh, a dismissive laugh. Then he said something that would come back to haunt him. Have you seen their car? At the time, almost everyone agreed with him. Tesla was changing the world. BYD looked like just another unknown Chinese automaker making cheap cars. Case closed. Or so everyone thought. Fast forward 13 years, the same Elon Musk who once laughed at BYD delivered a very different warning. He called Chinese EV companies the most competitive in the world. Then he said something even more shocking. Without trade barriers, Chinese automakers could demolish most other car companies. Think about that. The man who started the electric car revolution is now warning the world about China's electric car revolution. But here's where almost everyone gets this story wrong. This isn't a story about Tesla making bad cars, and it isn't simply a story about BYD making cheaper ones. It's something much bigger. This is the story of how the center of the automotive world quietly shifted from California to Shenzhen. Because while Tesla was busy building the future of the automobile, BYD was busy building something even more valuable, the entire machine behind it. And once you understand that machine, you'll understand why Tesla started cutting prices, why governments around the world suddenly rushed to impose tariffs on Chinese EVs, and why this battle is no longer just about cars. It's about who will control the future of manufacturing itself. Because this isn't the end of Tesla, it's the beginning of an entirely new automotive era. One where the biggest competition isn't between two companies, it's between two completely different ways of building the future. Most people believe Tesla and BYD are fighting the same battle. Who has the faster car, the longer range, the better software, the cooler design? But that's exactly where the world misunderstood what was happening. Because the real competition was never about building the best electric car. It was about building the best system to manufacture millions of them. And Tesla didn't realize how dangerous that difference would become. Think about building a house. You hire one company to pour the foundation, another to build the walls, another for plumbing, another for electricity. Every contractor adds profit. Every delay costs money. Now imagine one company owns the cement factory, the lumber mill, the electrical company, and even the trucks delivering the materials. That company doesn't just build houses faster, it builds them cheaper every single time. That's exactly what happened in the EV industry. While the rest of the auto industry depended on hundreds of suppliers, BYD quietly started bringing almost everything in-house. It didn't just manufacture electric cars, it manufactured the batteries, the electric motors, power electronics, many of the semiconductors, even the software powering the vehicle. Today, analysts estimate that roughly 75% of a BYD vehicle's components are produced internally, with the company also manufacturing its own battery cells, a level of vertical integration rarely seen in the modern auto industry. That changes everything, because every part you build yourself is one less company taking a cut. This wasn't just about saving money. It created something economists call a structural cost advantage, a lead that's incredibly difficult for competitors to copy. Tesla could lower prices, but every price cut squeezed its profits. BYD had far more room to compete because it controlled much more of the production process. And that's when the balance of power began to shift. But manufacturing wasn't BYD's biggest advantage. Its biggest weapon was hidden inside the floor of every car it built, and it would force the entire industry to rethink what an electric battery should be. If cars were smartphones, the battery would be the processor. It determines how far you can drive, how fast you can charge, how much the car costs, and most importantly, whether the company building it makes money or loses it. For years, Tesla had one of the biggest advantages in battery technology. Its vehicles offered industry-leading range and performance, helping redefine what an electric car could be. But while the world focused on range, BYD focused on something else: cost. Because in the EV business, the company that builds the cheapest battery often wins the market. Most premium EVs relied on batteries packed with nickel and cobalt. They delivered excellent range, but they came with a problem. They were expensive, and some of their raw materials were difficult to source. BYD made a completely different bet. Instead of chasing maximum range, it doubled down on lithium iron phosphate, or LFP batteries. At the time, many experts believed LFP batteries could never compete with premium EVs because they stored less energy. On paper, that looked like a weakness. In reality, it became BYD's greatest opportunity. In 2020, BYD introduced something called the Blade battery. Instead of packing batteries into bulky modules, it redesigned the entire structure. The battery cells became long, thin blades that fit together more efficiently. Then, BYD took the idea one step further. It made the battery part of the car's structure itself. Imagine building a skyscraper where the foundation also supports the walls. That's essentially what BYD did. The battery wasn't just powering the vehicle, it became part of the vehicle. The result? Lower weight, higher structural rigidity, better crash performance, lower production costs. And because LFP chemistry is naturally more stable, the design also improved safety compared with many earlier approaches. This innovation gave BYD something every automaker dreams about: a technological advantage that also reduced manufacturing costs. That's incredibly rare. Most breakthroughs make products better. Few make them significantly cheaper at the same time. And suddenly, Tesla found itself fighting a company that wasn't just innovating faster, it was producing vehicles at prices that were becoming increasingly difficult to match. But BYD wasn't finished optimizing its business, because after controlling the factory, it decided to control something else no one expected: the ocean. Why would a car company build its own fleet of cargo ships? Most companies stop at making the product. Some companies own the factory. BYD decided that wasn't enough, because once you've built hundreds of thousands of electric cars, a new problem appears. How do you get them to the rest of the world? Most automakers rely on global shipping companies. If shipping prices rise, their costs rise. If ports become congested, deliveries slow down. If there aren't enough cargo ships, cars sit in parking lots instead of dealerships. For most manufacturers, that's just the cost of doing business. But BYD doesn't think like most manufacturers. Instead of paying someone else, BYD built its own fleet. In 2024, it launched its first dedicated vehicle carrier, the BYD Explorer No. 1. This massive ship can transport around 7,000 vehicles in a single voyage. Think about that for a second. BYD isn't just building the cars, it's controlling how those cars reach customers thousands of miles away. That's not just logistics, that's strategy. And those ships weren't sailing aimlessly. They were carrying BYD into markets where demand for affordable electric vehicles was exploding. Thailand, Brazil, Australia, Latin America, Southeast Asia, markets where affordability mattered more than brand prestige. And that strategy worked because most people don't buy the fastest electric car, they buy the one they can actually afford. In China, the price gap became impossible to ignore. BYD Seal competed directly with the Tesla Model 3, but at a significantly lower starting price. Then BYD went even further. It introduced the Seagull, a fully electric city car priced at under $10,000. For Tesla, there was no equivalent product. And that's the real problem. You can't win every market if you don't have a product for that market. Then something extraordinary happened. Instead of competing only in showrooms, the battle moved into government offices. Because when one company becomes too efficient, competition doesn't always respond with better products. Sometimes it responds with politics. If BYD was just another automaker, why did governments around the world suddenly build walls to keep it out? When a company starts winning, competitors usually respond with building a better product. But when governments start responding, you know something much bigger is happening. In 2024, the United States imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. The European Union followed with its own tariffs after investigating Chinese government subsidies. Officially, the goal was to create a level playing field. Unofficially, it was a recognition that Chinese automakers had become impossible to ignore. But here's the twist. Even with those trade barriers, BYD kept expanding. Instead of focusing only on America or Europe, it turned towards emerging markets, countries where millions of families were buying their first electric car. Thailand, Brazil, Australia, Latin America, Southeast Asia, markets where affordability mattered more than brand prestige. And that strategy worked because most people don't buy the fastest electric car, they buy the one they can actually afford. In China, the price gap became impossible to ignore. BYD Seal competed directly with the Tesla Model 3,